Welcome to the last day of April. April showers bring May flowers. We
Yeah.
have flowers, and I'm grateful because I love flowers. I love spring, and here comes Brandy. Yay! I love spring. Spring's my favorite season of the year. Maybe because I was born in the spring. I don't know. So we'll start with our role introduction, our roles introduction, starting with some levity. Corey, looking at the wrong guy. Corey,
Torey,
bring
Torey.
us a little bit of levity.
I would love to.
Awesome.
Thank you. So as I was thinking of what the joke would be for tonight and sharing it, Tori's talking about doing his icebreaker today kind of reminded me. So I'm curious, what is it that made you guys join Toastmasters?
Robin.
Two of you? What's that?
Robin Lee.
Robin Lee. Okay, but what about Robin Lee made you join Toastmasters?
Consistent pursuit of excellence in public speaking.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Well, it was first Robin Lee, and then it was David Muller, who used to be your president.
Okay.
And then I dropped out for a little while, and then it was Kim Chen who sent me an email to come back. So that's why I came back.
Well, I was looking for things for myself, at least. I had joined looking for like confidence and things like that. And the idea with it is that I found it really ironic how much that we as a group, that confidence, us getting up here and doing this, like putting ourselves in the exact situation that we don't want to be in. That often people will say that it's one of the things that people fear more than death, right? Of getting up in front of people and talking and doing the whole thing. And so I found it really ironic that, if I was to be at a funeral or anything like that, that of the people in the audience, that most people would rather be in the coffin than actually standing up front and giving a speech about it. So that's the joke.
That's
Great.
that's great.
I can think of one person in particular that would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, in the coffin or upfront speaking?
Yeah.
I like upfront speaking.
That would be
I like live. All right, let's go into our roles and we'll start with table topics master. Buffy, can you share the role of the table topics master?
Yes, generally speaking, thank you, Madam President. A Table Topics Master calls upon several members to deliver 1 to 2 minute impromptu talks on a topic announced right before the member is chosen. Today's table topics, we were going to have members who have served in Toastmaster officers roles, either currently or in the past, to share their experiences. So the rest of y'all won't be on the hot seat today. We're going to hear from experienced officers.
All right. Thank
Madam
you.
President.
Thank you. Toastmaster. Madam Toastmaster.
Madam Toastmaster.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
She was
The
the
next
president.
role, I was.
Oh.
The next role will be
Education.
the role of the general evaluator, and that's Kim Chen. You want to share what the role of the general evaluator is?
Certainly, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and honored. I don't think we have an honored guest on site, but the role of the general evaluator to evaluate the overall meeting, and I'll report that at the end. I will also call up for roles. There's a timer role and the Meridian to give their report, and I will also give a little bit of evaluation to the evaluator of the speech. And with that, I turn it back to you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you. And our next role will be the role of the timer, and that is by Ruth Katz.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So as the timer, I will time the table topic speakers, the formal speeches, the evaluations, and I'll also alert each speaker of the time they have left using green, yellow, and red cards. And each card denotes a specific time. For table topics is no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. At 30 seconds, the yellow card. At 2 minutes, the red card. And for, do we have an icebreaker? I really didn't look
We have
at the-
2 icebreakers today. Rachel's on her way.
Rachel. So yours is 4 to 6 minutes. And at 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5, the yellow. 6, the red. And who's the other? There's another icebreaker?
Thanks.
Okay, so same thing for you. And most of the speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length, but we don't have anybody else, just 2 icebreakers. Is that correct?
Exciting day.
Okay.
The icebreaker gets to be a little shorter, I think.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Please tell me that.
yes,
Right,
yes,
let's
yes,
make sure we note that.
yes, yes, yes.
4 minutes.
And then the individual evaluation should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the yellow. And at 3 minutes, the red. Sorry about that.
That's quite all right.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And for our final role, it's the Meridian, Teresa Staal-Cowley.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters. The role of the grammarian is to keep track of incorrect and particularly good uses of grammar. And the word of the day is preposterous. It's an
Okay.
adjective. It means contrary to reason or common sense, utterly absurd or ridiculous. So it could be used in such a way as that is a preposterous suggestion.
That is
Thank you.
Wait, can you spell it actually? Because I'm not sure about the
It's
third.
PREPOSTEROUS.
That's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Free.
The word of the day is preposterous or
Preposterous.
preposterous. Is it free?
Preposterous.
Preposterous.
That's, yeah.
I missed that R at the beginning, and then you said it. Thanks for spelling it. All right, well, we'll start with our first icebreaker for today. It is given by Torey Briger. Am I saying your name right?
Krieger.
Krieger.
That's okay.
Thank you. And the evaluator is Brandy Miller. If you could come and introduce our first icebreaker speech of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Today, it is my honor and privilege to introduce Torey, who will be giving his icebreaker speech. This is such a wonderful time as a Toastmaster because this marks the start of your journey and the progress you will make. And we talked a little bit about the title, but I'm going to let
I sent you a text. I don't know if you got it
Oh.
this afternoon, but it might have been late, but that's okay.
that's the problem with sharing a phone with your 12-year-old daughter.
Okay.
She got it.
I did not see your, but I will let you come up, or what is the title of your?
I didn't title it, but it's about overcoming fear and finding identity. That can be a great title. There you go. Overcoming fear and finding identity.
Overcoming fear and finding identity. Torey, overcoming fear and finding identity. Would you like to come up to the lectern?
Thank you for that introduction. Appreciate that, Brandy. All right. So I'm coming here today confronting a couple of fears, and I think it'll kind of make sense as I conclude and why I'm addressing what I'm addressing. So one of those is the more obvious and less vulnerable, and that's the fear of public speaking. Why I'm here. The other is that of just being authentic, so a little bit more vulnerable. So it's not about performing or managing impressions or worrying about how I'll be received. So it's easy to present a version of ourselves that we think others expect. But when we're inauthentic, even if people approve of us, they're approving a version of us that isn't real. And then we have the pressure to maintain that performance. So today, as you get to know me, I want to share who I actually am, at least how I've come to define my identity. Not built on performance or approval, but one that lets me live from who I am, not somebody that I'm trying to become. There's a lyric from a song that I used to play on repeat, and the lyric was, "Sorry, I'm not who I thought I could be. Sorry, I fail more than I succeed." A little bit dark, maybe, but it resonated me because I was trying hard to be somebody that I thought I was supposed to be. I placed my identity in things that couldn't sustain it, things based entirely on performance, and anything built on performance falls apart the moment you fail. So, like many people, I grew up with these. I built walls, and I developed traits that helped me fit in, but they weren't actually me. Some of those traits came from suggestive voices, voices that weren't mine until I believed them. I've already mentioned fear, and over the last few years, I've come to understand fear as an entity, a being with a voice that works against me. And I've learned that this fear only has the power that I give it. It survives on persuasion, not force. So the moment I stop believing the voice, it loses its strength. It can shout, but it can't enforce. On the opposite end of fear is the temptation to define ourselves by what we're good at. And for me, one thing early in my life was running. I grew up watching my dad run, and I wanted to be like him. I trained early, and it worked, and running set me apart. It gave me something to cling to, and it gave me the recognition that I was craving, and it hid other insecurities. Running shaped friendships, and it became the center of my world for a long time. But the problem was I never became the runner that I imagined that I would be. And that was hard. I had tied a lot of my identity to something that was unsustainable. And when that dream faded, I swung other directions, indulging in things that I had neglected and wanted to experience. It wasn't that I didn't have any idea of who I was apart from running, but it's that I allowed running to tell a story about me that wasn't sustainable. I realize we all interpret life through different frameworks, lenses by which we make sense of the world around us. For most of my life, I tried to make sense of everything through a naturalistic framework, but eventually it hit its limits. It couldn't explain certain experiences I had, and it couldn't help me understand myself in ways that I needed. There were two passages of scripture that helped me reframe things. One is, "It's the spirit who gives life, the flesh is no help at all." And the other is that the natural person doesn't accept the things of the spirit because they're spiritually discerned. For me, it suggested that there were some realities that could only be that couldn't be understood through natural reasoning alone. And once it clicked, it became a breakthrough for me. One of the biggest areas that this affected was my perception of identity. So people long to be defined, known, accepted. But until you know who you are and what defines you, you remain open to the power of suggestion, whether it's peers, culture, self-talk, or even spiritual influence. Each one pushes you toward a different version of yourself. So for me, this came through trying to define things through performance. But that verse that I shared earlier, John 6:63, it says, "It's the flesh that's no help at all. It's the spirit that gives life." It kind of So it basically unraveled me in a really good way, it causing me to re-examine different frameworks. So it meant that identity wasn't something that I had to earn, and it meant that acceptance wasn't something that I had to perform for. And it meant that the deep longing to be loved and secure couldn't be satisfied by achievement. If achievement is based on acceptance, you lose it the moment that you fail. This is where I began to understand between the difference of being a son and being a slave. A slave can outperform a son in every measurable way, but he still doesn't have the security that a son has. Sonship isn't earned, adoption isn't earned, they're given and you can rest in them. That realization changed everything for me. So today I stand here confronting fear. I'm also standing here as someone who has learned that identity isn't found in performance or achievement. Identity is given by the one who created me, but it was something that I had to receive and a different voice that I had to trust. It meant rejecting the performance-based narratives. Being born again meant being redefined as a son, and from that security, who I am flows naturally. I do because of who I am, not to become something that I'm striving for. I know that matters of faith can feel off limits in certain settings, but leaving this out would be presenting a version of myself that isn't true anymore. And that would give power back to fear. It's vulnerable, but it's real. And I hope it serves to expose the different ways that fear operates. I hope it exposes voices that try to define us and encourages others to be bold, honest, and reflective about identity. Thank you for your kindness and the time to allow me to share.
Wow.
Yeah. That really. You know what? Wow. Oh my God. Oh, no, it was beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was very vulnerable. Very good. Good. And we always stand for our icebreakers,
Okay.
but that was even more touching. So thank you so much for sharing that heartfelt speech with us. Our second speech, another icebreaker, Rachel Hammerer. Cammerer, like a camera. Yes. Thank you. Rachel Cammerer will be giving our second icebreaker speech, and she will be introduced by Justin Bellis.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. Our next speaker is giving her icebreaker speech. It's going to be about an embarrassing moment and her irresponsible parenting. She is working on level 1, engaging humor, with her icebreaker today. Her goal is to introduce herself and her style of speaking and storytelling. She hopes to share a laugh with you today. Really well.
Justin,
I do have.
would you mind?
Oh, you want me? Okay. No, I don't mind. You don't mind.
She's evaluating you.
Hmm?
She's asked for several of us to do it.
Right.
Oh, it's clear. Thank you.
Ugh. There I was. Sheriff was at my table for 45 minutes. He was lecturing me. I was mad. Ugh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand. Ugh. I was humiliated. I felt judged. Don't tell me what to do, I was thinking. Yes, sir. I know, sir. Mostly, I was embarrassed. So what happened? We're going all the way back to 1990. I was young. I was newly married, in love, and we had just bought our first house. And I had a 15-month-old baby at home, little girl, Katie. So Kurt, my husband, had already gone to work, and I was going to make coffee and read the newspaper. So it's November in Denver. I open the front door. Newspaper's right there on the walkway. So I step out. It's November in Denver. Click, click. The door was locked. The door was locked. It slipped right behind me. Well, I had run out to get that paper in a t-shirt. And nothing but a t-shirt. And I mean nothing but a t-shirt. Hoping to do something quick. I was a new mom. First thing you do when you're a new mom. First thought, the baby! And there's no reasoning. It was worst case scenario, the baby's gonna die. I was panicked and I was spiraling and I was, thinking about what I'm gonna do, and I could see her in the front window. I could see her. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I was spiraling so bad that it took my chattering teeth and chattering skeleton to knock some sense into my brain and say, oh, I have to take action here. So I ran, and it was a new house. I didn't have next door neighbors. I had to run like 4 lots up to the nearest neighbor. So I run to the neighbor. I'm banging on the door. It's 6:30 in the morning. Please answer the door. This was before cell phones and things like that. And while the phones were still connected to the wall back then, you didn't have it in your pocket.
So he opened the door. He looked at me. He looked at me. He looked at me. I explained the whole situation, called 911. Help was on the way. And I'm thinking, so I went back home to keep an eye on the baby through the window. Freezing, I'm like, oh, thinking, wow, I can never face that neighbor again while I was home, waiting for the fire department to come. So I could hear him off in the distance and I go, oh, and I'm imagining it's going to be one of those small ambulance type trucks, and a kindly old man is going to get out with his little Slim Jim and pop the door for me. And there, lady. No, that's not what happened at all. That is not what happened. I look up the street and there's a ladder truck coming down. There's a ladder truck and they come all the way to the house, and I'm there, with all of my situation. People are coming off with their gear. All these men. So many men. It was 28 degrees out, but I could feel my face was on fire. Might not have been a fire in the house for them, but my face, I could feel the waves of it. I'm sure I was steaming. I was so embarrassed. It took them 30 seconds to burst in. Of course. Took them no time, and off they went. They were on their way. Reunited with the baby. Everybody was fine. So where does the sheriff come into this? 2 weeks later. Oh no. I did the exact thing.
No.
I did the exact same thing.
Oh my God.
So that's when the sheriff came in, was lecturing me. I think he had a clipboard. I was so embarrassed. But you learn a few things when stuff like that happens to you. First of all, you don't actually die from embarrassment. Like you want to, but you don't actually die. You live through it. And you learn that you have to forgive yourself. It's hard to do. You give yourself some grace when you make mistakes like that. Or anything, stepping on someone's toes, saying the wrong thing. Sometimes you reach out to someone to ask for forgiveness, and that creates a bond with them too. They usually do, because they can relate to your mistakes. And I would say, if you can, deal with your embarrassment with humor, because nobody wants to hear about the perfect dinner party you threw, but they'll lean in when you start talking about the fire department and the sheriff, right? And finally, I would say, keep a spare key. Keep a spare key. I've got 4. Toastmaster, back to you. All right. Wow. Wow.
Yes, that's it.
Wow. Great job.
Oh, this is so delightful. I think everyone should do icebreaker. Oh my God, that was amazing. Amazing. I feel bad for you too. 4 spare keys. Lesson learned. Sorta. Awesome. Now we'll have an opportunity for everyone to speak extemporaneously, starting with our table topics master. Well, hopefully everyone, maybe people who have not had a role could talk about what they perceive the role to be and if they're interested in the role, maybe. Come on up. A thought. Just a thought.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Honored fellow Toastmasters and even fellow role. Welcome, Robin. Tongue-tied as I am. Well, as I mentioned in our check-in, today's table topics we're going to have members who have served in a Toastmaster officer role, either currently or in the past, share their experience with that role. Now, I'd say that because the time, we have 10 minutes for this, more or less, I think,
Probably 4 minutes.
for the whole thing.
Well,
So our first evaluation is at 12:34.
4 minutes for all our table comments.
Yep, better get started.
That's the
Okay.
time of that.
Okay, well,
So I mean, whatever we get through.
so we're not gonna get to hear from all the voices. We're just gonna hear a brief
Mostly talk fast.
talk fast. So each
speed round.
role, each person who has served a role in at this club or anywhere else is invited to volunteer themselves, come up and speak really fast and clearly because you're really good at it. Starting now, who would like to begin?
And some up front, I'll go ahead and.
Catherine.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I've served as president. The only role I have not served as is VPE. VPE, Robin does extraordinary in that capacity, and I never want to take her place. As president, I served even though I was kind of reluctant, but once I got into it, to me, president is the easiest role. President is the easiest role, in my opinion. I've served as treasurer, and of course, you keep tabs with money and make sure that dues are paid timely. I've served as VPM membership. I've helped people with getting packets together, enrolling people, going online. Each capacity, I think, is an opportunity to serve our club.
Can you tell us what VPE is? What does that stand for?
Who wants to speak next can do that.
That's it.
Come on, Brandy.
Or
Robin.
VPE.
Robin.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Robin.
Okay, I'll speak next. So VPE is one of my favorite roles because I love educating and helping people get what they want out of, in this case, Toastmasters. It got to be a challenge more with pathways because you have to learn a little bit more about the tech. And so, but it's a fun role. Also, I found doing it in conjunction with being area director, because then you can bring information from outside of the club into the club. So that's actually one of my favorite combinations. As president, I have found it not to be the easiest role because as soon as I got to be president, I had something conflicting time-wise. And so one of the main roles as president is you should be there as much as possible to be able to close the meeting. And so that has been kind of a challenge for me. I love serving the club. I love that we are growing and there's seeing a bunch of people. And I will pass it back to our table topics master for the next person. Take a roll.
Take it away, Brandy. Thank you, Robin.
All right, thank you, table
And
topics
VPE
master.
is Vice President of Education. That's what the letters are. Thank you.
So I passed around, and for folks out there in Zoom land, I'll send this to you online, a printout of all the different roles, the officer roles, and then there is immediate past president as well. The nice thing with that is means if you are the new president, you're not alone. You're not alone because you have all the officer roles, but you also have the immediate past presidents in this case, because we've had lots of presidents within our club to help out. The thing I will say about any of the roles is they are as much as you put into them or as little as you put into them. Meaning we all have lives, we're all busy, we do what we can. So you just do your best, you put as much into it as you can. And the sky's the limit, but also just showing up and doing what you can is enough too. This is a volunteer group, but we're all in this to grow. So if you can do your best, that's great. And there's so many resources for all these roles. So on this printout, you'll see this page of the description of what the role does, but also there's an incredible amount of resource online, and there's also training. So when you become an officer, each half year, of the Toastmasters year. So the Toastmasters year is July 1 to July 1. You will have a training. And in the training, it's, a couple hours on a weekend or an evening, and you can attend it online. You'll learn everything you need to know. And then as officers, we meet once a month and we help move the club forward. And we haven't had a lot of energy the last few years because we haven't had a lot of membership. But with more membership, I think that we can do a lot more to move our club forward, get more members, do exciting things like we're going to do in early June, where we're going to have someone from up north come down and speak about giving better evaluations. So sky's the limit. I have done president, secretary, sergeant at arms, and treasurer. They all are wonderful, all have their challenges. And if you're just looking for something to get you in the door, I would suggest secretary or sergeant at arms. Treasurer, well, I want to be treasurer again, but if someone else wants to be treasurer, they can of course run. But in a couple of weeks, we will be voting on our next Toastmasters round of officers. So with that, I'm over time. I'm getting it back to our table topics today.
Thank you. Next up is evaluations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Brandy coming back up as the first
Same
evaluator.
time. Brandy, you want to come up and evaluate?
Thank you.
Thank you. Tried to speak as fast as I could. Let me take a deep breath. Fellow Toastmasters, it's an honor, and especially Torey, on your icebreaker. The icebreaker is to me, such an important moment because it does truly mark your beginning, your journey as a Toastmaster. And I have to say, for your first speech and your icebreaker, you did amazing. I was so shaky when I did mine. I was like, but of course I wasn't reading from the phone. I was like trying to hold the paper still. And every single word I read from the paper. I was so nervous. So what I'm going to do with your evaluation today is I'm going to do the good, better, best. And so I want to talk about first all the things I thought you did well. The thing that was impressive to me is when you came up and you gave your opening, you weren't really looking at your notes. You were making eye contact and you had a really strong opening. The good thing about a strong opening in any speech is it can carry you through the rest of the speech. So even if you're looking at your notes completely, which you didn't, you made eye contact while you were reading, it can carry you through. So right there, that was a really strong beginning. You had great analogies and great grammar. There was just so much, I couldn't write it all down. It was so authentic. It really came from the heart. I really got a sense of who you are. I loved learning about your running. I loved the scripture that you gave and you talking about your faith journey and how it helped you. There was just so much good stuff in there. There really was. I wish that you'd had more than 4 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Your speech. I'm like, these icebreakers are too short. The only thing I would say, because we want to give a little bit of feedback, is maybe a little bit louder in your voice, a little more. What we try to say is speak to the back of the room. Like if you are, at a speech contest, that was one of the things that really got me at a speech contest was I didn't open with a loud voice so the back of the room could hear me. That's not how I naturally talk. So to be able to do that does take a little more energy and a little more effort. So I would say in your next speech, try to be a little more vocal, like a little more, bring your voice up a little bit. But to close out, what I thought you did best is, again, the authenticity of your story. I think we all really felt like a good sense of who you are, and you did an amazing job. Congratulations. I know it's not easy getting that icebreaker.
You're kind. Thank you.
Getting that icebreaker out of the way. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Awesome. Eval. Next evaluation will be by Justin.
All right. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. It's our pleasure to hear Rachel today give her icebreaker speech. And I guess we have several evaluators, correct? So,
But you're the primary.
yeah. So it's primary. I think I'll just go along. I'm not sure who evaluates, so maybe you want the feedback from everybody is what I understand? Rachel?
Oh,
I mean, they're filling out.
Yeah,
Just go for
we're
it.
gonna fill it.
Okay, so do you want them to, or you just want them
We're
to
gonna
fill
hand
it
it,
out?
yeah.
and hand it to you?
Private.
Okay, I wasn't sure, but
Or should I?
I got started.
Oh.
Okay, I wasn't sure how the format was gonna go. I saw you handing some stuff out, so. Very good. I loved your speech. It was great. You even got us some templates we could use, which I had one printed out, but thank you. These are great templates. You can go on to the website, Toastmasters International, not the local website, but the international website. There's lots of resources we can use. So we use that, and you excelled at, you may want to work on and to challenge yourself. It goes in the opposite order as I like, but I like to give the worst best, or the worst first, and the better best. The opposite. But you gave a great speech. I love how you came up here. You had energy, you were positive, you were prepared. You moved us over here. I noticed how you pretend it was a car. At first, I didn't quite register, but oh, that's a car. That's great. That was great imagery you used. So I really like that. Something you may want to work on. At that point, I couldn't hear you very well, and it wasn't very clear. And after that, you did get louder and enunciated better. So I'd say to work on that. And also let's play with your hair a little bit here and there. So that was a little bit distracting with your hand movements. Also, you may want to work on, as far as it is challenging here. I struggle with that too, because you're trying to be in front of the group, but your stage area was a little bit confined. So that's something you can work on. To challenge yourself, a couple of repeats I noticed. And then towards the end, the energy seemed to die down. And then I'm not sure if it wasn't as rehearsed towards the end, but I started to lose you towards the end as far as the energy. But it was a great speech. You came up here, you captivated us, you kept us entertained, engaged, you had good hand movements, good facial expressions. The area you were moving in, I felt like you moved pretty well. You kept us engaged, and the hand movements were fitting for what you were describing. And I felt like it was really good. And I hope to hear more speeches from you in the future. And did you want me to go through this part, or do you want me to just hand that to you, Rachel, as far as the circles? Okay.
Give you that evaluation form. Thank you.
And did you want to share some comments, Kathy, or did you have anything? Or
still right.
You just write down. Okay. Anyway, great speech. It was very neat to see. You did make me laugh, as your goal was, and you kept us very well entertained. So thank you.
Thank you for that evaluation. And next will be our general evaluator, Kim Chin, who will be evaluating the entire meeting and calling the report. Kim Chin.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters. I like, before you record my evaluation, I was gonna mention kind of, you don't need to record this as a table topic, but I wanted to also add that part of the table topic role is that I'm currently a VP of membership, which is another officer role. And I've been also past presidents and also VP of PR. So there is an opening currently of VP of PR, which is public relation. And I feel like there is a need for that role to be filled, just helping do a lot of the technology side. So if that is something that you have passion about, advertising and doing public relation, then that would be something to look forward to. And I hope someone has a passion for that, or even trying to get people involved as VP of membership that I'm currently serving in. Now I'll move on to my evaluation portion of the meeting. I thought that have been an amazing meeting that I've been in a long, long time. And that's speaking from being Zoom, like being here. So I can't imagine being on site with the energy level that they're there. Starting on time, props to the roles being filled out. And that's kudos to everybody who raised their hand from last week and saying, I'll take a role. And so that got filled out. I'm sure Kathy, being the Toastmaster, is appreciative that she is able to be up there. And really, I mean, there was like an awkward elevator music 2 minutes before we even started. We didn't know what to do because we had prepared and had time for it. And that's also kudos to Justin and whoever were there early to help kind of mark that down, to be able to help us set up the tables and be ready. So starting on time, I love the intro. April shower brings flower. Kathy, what a statement. The joke master, that's a really cool way, Corey. I thought it was really cool how you intro the joke master role. Your joke. I think, yeah, it's the irony behind it. So I thought that was fun to do, to just change things up a little bit. What I would say, for speech number one, love the speech, love the evaluation. I have nothing more to add. The same for both icebreaker, and I thought I would just say that for speech number one, Torey, that was touching. Number two, as for uh for Rachel, and humorous as it was, I was laughing on this end as well, and you were animated. Love that. I thought that it transitioned really good to our table topic. We got most of the roles being spoken to. I do want to, I as we were going through the officer role explanation, I also want to throw out another props to, if you of choosing a role, and willing to do that. There were 2 years ago, I remember Justin, who joined as a member. He we encouraged him to jump into the president's role, and I just want to give props for that, because if you're sitting there as new members and you don't want to, or you don't think you can handle it, Justin is a good example of somebody who just joined literally, I think, with 6 months in as a member, and took over that role and did amazing and kept our club together. So kudos for Justin for that. That's not really part of the evaluation, but overall, I thought we did. I'm happy that we had a great meeting. I love that we have a lot of participation. And with that, my time is up. I will call on roles. And the first role I would like to call on is our grammarian, who is Teresa.
I have like a page of notes. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. So as the grammarian, Tori, you did such an excellent icebreaker speech. And I was trying so hard to write down all your quotes. And I just wish I could have a copy because I couldn't take them all down. They're just so powerful, those quotes that you, like little phrases that you had that I want to keep, that I would like to have posted on my refrigerator or my mirror when I wake up in the morning. I did notice that you had 20 ums, and I noticed that in between sentences you were saying and you were trying to catch yourself, and then you caught yourself starting to say and then you stopped yourself. You said once, so twice. I mean, other than that, it was excellent. I was almost fighting tears. It was so powerful. So thank you so much, Tori. And then I'm just going to go down to how I have it all written. So Kim, I just have 2 ums and 1 wee. Corey, all I could say is I couldn't find anything wrong. You were just so smooth. And I thought, amazing.
Smooth.
And with Rachel, I loved your humor, your acting out. When I was in high school, we did dramatic and comedy interpretations. And I noticed you were using all those skills in your icebreaker. And I love how you just said the wisdom of keeping a spare key, and then you ended it by saying, I have 4. And then Buffy, I noticed in the beginning that you were starting to stutter, but then you caught yourself and you said in, and then roll, but then you composed yourself and you were excellent. And then Justin, I have only one one so. Robin, I have one so, one and, two ums. Kathy, I have like with your intro phrase when you talked about April showers and Mayflowers was excellent to just set the tone for our whole meeting. And then Brandy, I just have one so, two ands, one and you did excellent evaluation and intro with Torey. And then let me see. You used a great analogy of grammar and running in scripture, faith, authenticity of story, how you spoke, Brandy. And then nobody used the word.
I know. I was just thinking of it.
Preposterous. Absolutely. Preposterous that nobody used the word. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. That is absolutely correct. That's preposterous that no one used the word in this meeting until now. You don't have to report me for that. Next, I'd like to call up our timer, who is Ruth. Ruth, please give us a timer report.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, Master Evaluator, correct? Okay, so today's times. First, the icebreaker. So before I even start, Torey, I have the same response. I was fighting tears, and I just had to say that. And you also have me in stitches. I enjoyed today immensely. So for the icebreakers, Torey, your time was 6 minutes and 40 seconds, and Rachel's yours was 6 minutes and 28 seconds. For table topics, Kathy, I have 53 seconds. Robin, table topics, 1 minute, 12 seconds. And Brandy, 2 minutes, 26 seconds for evaluation. So Brandy, for your icebreaker evaluation, it was 48 seconds. Was that short? Yeah, 48 seconds. And Justin, for the icebreaker for Rachel, it was 23 seconds. Were they that short? I think.
Our evaluations of them?
Yeah, for the icebreakers were very short. It was short, yeah.
Must have been 2:30.
No, I don't think I did give you. Sorry, I wrote it down wrong. I apologize. But later on, oh, no, it was 2:30 for the big evaluation.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I didn't do a table. Yeah.
But I'll talk to you about it later. Table topics. Okay, so next is just the general evaluation. So Brandy, yours was 246, and Justin, this one was 229.
Oh,
The big one, yeah. And then Kim, it was 310 for your evaluation. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Ruth. You are so much better at being a timer role now. Yay, I love it. I'm seeing the improvements for sure from
branch out.
the first couple of times you volunteer. But yeah, overall, great meeting. And with that, I will turn it to our current president, Robin Lee, who's on the line right now. Robin.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. I am so happy to drop in once in a while on our meetings. And so I want to say this was a fabulous meeting. I'm glad that I got to come in for as much of it as I did. And there we go. Okay, I can see everybody now. So we have our elections coming up. We also have our new member induction coming up next week. So hopefully all of our new members will be able to attend so that we can we do a vote first to make sure that we all agree that you should be in a club. And from what I have heard from everyone so far, I think you all are fabulous additions to Meridian Toastmasters. So then after that, then we're going to actually do what do you call it?
Officers.
Yes. Well, we're going nominations. we're going to do nominations for officers, and then we will wind up probably, we haven't discussed this with the whole of the officers yet, but Brandy and I think we should wind up waiting until the next week to actually do the elections. And so, but definitely if you are interested in taking an officer role, then you can talk to any of us that have been officers if you want more information. And you can definitely put your hat in the ring. Would love to have you. And then if you want, you can also just be in support of any of the people who are in the officer roles. And then if we are passed, what I think I'll do is leave it up to somebody who's in the room to actually see who wants to take any of the roles. And Brandy actually knows which roles would be available, I believe, for next week. So she would be able to do that for the people in the room. And with that, I will do my imaginary gavel, my scissors will, I call this meeting complete. However you adjourn the meeting. That's what it is.
That's the word.
I adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, preposterous.
Roles for next week. Who wants to take Toastmasters?